So one thing that's very crucial to understand is that you're constantly sending out a message. I know this sounds sort of new agey, but it's true. You constantly send out a message. To what? To yourself, to your creation, to the mirror that reflects you. You're constantly shaping the mirror that reflects you. So you got to be a little bit mindful of what you're sending out right now. What are you thinking right now? You'd be surprised how unconscious people are of what they're thinking on a daily basis. Or maybe you're not, because maybe you're one of them, I don't know. Maybe you don't see it. But as soon as you start increasing your consciousness, your level of consciousness, you see everyone just be sheep-like. They have no idea what they're thinking. They have no idea why they're saying what they're saying. There is no clarity, there's no decision. In any single one of their choices, there is no decision. No decision is ever made. It's just random choices. And then they wonder why their life seems so incoherent. Well, that's why, because that's what you're creating. You're creating, I don't care about my life. You created for me. What is you? Your conditioning. So you're basically telling your parents, your friends, your childhood teachers, the people on television, the advertisements you see, you're giving away your power to all of that, all your influences, and you say, I don't care about my life, I don't care about being happy, I don't care about feeling good, I don't care what I came here for, this is a waste of energy anyway, you guys go right ahead, create my life for me, I'll just watch it. Right? That's not a recipe for happiness. Let me tell you that. It's not. But there is a recipe for happiness. Otherwise I would not be doing this. I'd be just doing the same thing. So I'm sharing this with you because there is a recipe. There's a solution to the unconscious madness, to the rambling that you're not even aware of. And that is to become aware of it and to start choosing your vibration, to start choosing your state of being, to start choosing what you believe in, to start choosing where your attention goes. Because where your attention goes is where the energy will flow. So if on a random automatic pilot, because you assume you have no power, you just let it ramble on, you just let it send out whatever frequency you've been taught to send out, then what you'll see is a very mixed bag of things. You'll see a life that seems completely random, that seems completely taken care of you for you, but not in a positive way per se. Just taken care of in the sense you have no free will. It just happens. Perhaps you have free will in terms of whether you picked a green or a red apple. But if you're even unconscious of that choice, then you'll pick which one you're going to pick. So free will is a given of the universe, but it's dependent upon your level of consciousness as to how much access you regain to your original free will. If you are being very unconscious, acting very unconscious, if you don't care very much about your life, which is fine, if you don't care very much about your life, then you create the illusion of lacking free will, precisely because what you create with is the unconscious part of your consciousness, of your mind. Now, if you want to make this conscious, you got to start practicing. I know this sounds boring. It sounds tedious. Maybe it doesn't. But it's actually very practical. It's actually very effective. And here's the good thing. You start seeing results immediately. Immediately. Which will then feed back you in a positive way, which will then give you confidence and transformation and confirmation so that you can continue to do this and expand this until you reach levels of things that you can't even imagine yet. You start to understand and see and be able to create at speeds and things that you don't believe is possible from your present vibratory state of consciousness. Why? Because you're right. You cannot create that from your present vibratory state of consciousness. But by the time that you're at that state that I'm talking about, you will be in such a different vibratory state of consciousness that you will have access to these things, and it will be like breathing to you. It will be as normal, as normalized as it is for you to choose whether you want the red apple or the green apple. But things that you call magic from your point of view will then be the next normal stage of life. And things start speeding up once again. Your creation starts to reflect your true desires more and more and more. But you have to be mindful of what you're telling your universe. What are you telling your universe right now? What are you believing in? What are you seeing? What are you sensing? What are you vibrating at? Can you become aware of that right now? Just tune into yourself. What assumption are you under right now? You're always under a certain assumption. One being that gravity exists, for example. You didn't notice that, right? It's an assumption that you assumed. That's why it's an assumption. That's why it was unconscious. It was created for you so that you can live the life of walking on planet Earth, not having to wonder why you flew off the planet. So it's helpful, it's irrelevant. Nevertheless, it was an assumption. It was part of your unconscious consciousness. But it was created out of that unconscious agreement. What I'm sharing this with you because it's just one example of showing you that you assume a ton of things at any given moment, including myself. We all assume a ton of things at any given moment that we're unconscious of. And that's quite all right, because many of these things serve us. But many of these things do not serve us anymore. They're no longer relevant to be unconscious. They can now be transformed to be made conscious and chosen from, whether or not you still prefer that creation, that agreement with your reality. So, make yourself more aware of what you're sending out right now. What is the message you're putting off? What does your state of being feel like? Do you feel happy? Do you feel abundant? Are you looking forward to the next image? Or are you sort of like, meh? Because guess what? What will the next image be like? Meh. But if you change your state of being, the next image will suddenly start to look a little brighter. And then the next one after that will suddenly start to look a little brighter. And then you get confirmation and you become even brighter because now you believe that you are an infinite creature with infinite potential. And that is a very empowering belief. And that is in alignment with your higher self. Therefore, you take yourself up that much more towards that higher self-consciousness vibratory state. More happiness ensues. More power to create ensues, and the reflection confirms that. And again you expand, again you become more confident that you're not a victim, that you're not a physical creature, that you're actually a consciousness with a state of being, and that's it. The body is part of the image you put in front of your eyes. You are not the body walking about an actual world. The body came with the world you created. When you're drawing a picture on a canvas, and you draw a little guy in there with 2 legs and 2 arms, a little head and a little torso. Are you that little guy or girl? Or is it part of the image you've created? Is it inseparable from the canvas, from the world that surrounds it? When you go to sleep at night and you dream you have a body, do you actually go to a body and become that body? Or are you dreaming into existence a body that's inseparable from the environment that you're also dreaming into existence? If you're ever confused how physical reality works, reference your dreams, and it works exactly like that. Exactly. So, this body, you're dreaming into existence right now, and it's not the same body as half a second ago. It's a 100% different body because it's a 100% different universe, and it comes with a different package. But you're not the package. You're the consciousness that chooses to be aware of a certain package with a certain reality. Does that make sense? You're not the body. You're also not your personality. Oh my God. Can you be free from your own personality? Yes, you are all the time. You are consciousness with a state of being, and that's it. There's no personality in that. Personality is a choice. It's like a coat you wear. It's like a package. It's like the body. It's like the world you create. It's like another snapshot. One day you can be this personality, the next day you can be that personality. Whatever suits the moment. Whatever suits your mood. Whatever you feel like is genuine for you in that moment, you can express yourself through those means, and become that personality with that body in that world and enjoy yourself in that creation. Until you feel a calling to consciously recreate, to take a step back, to pause for 2 to 5 seconds. Take a deep breath. Recognize that you are consciousness. And then change your frequency and therefore choose another image. Alter your timeline. Suddenly, instead of it going like this, it goes like somewhere else. You could have also kept on going there. And this jarring moment of the intersection time frame where you suddenly shift into an alternate timeline, you're always already in a parallel reality. So it's flawed to say that you shifted into an alternate reality because you do that all the time. But the trajectory that you were seemingly following throughout these different points of view of reality now so drastically changes because you made a significant change in your identity, in your understanding of yourself, in your desire for yourself, that it jarred your reality, it jarred you, your state of being, your personality, your body even, and now you're assuming a different path, and you're actually going in a different quote-unquote direction. Not that there is a direction when there's infinite options available that are always already existent. There's no direction. It's directionless. There's infinite directions, you could say. And you're never going in one direction. But seemingly so, for your experience, it's like your timeline changed. You jumped a few frequencies. And therefore, the song that you're playing, the creation that you're creating is different. Again, how do you do this? You change your state of being, regardless of your circumstances. Very important point. Regardless of your circumstances. Did you know that you can feel however you want to feel, regardless of what appears in front of your eyes? Nice. Somebody could be flipping you off, and you could be absolutely happy about that. Or you could be absolutely distraught about that. Up to you. But if you choose to be absolutely offended by that, the next image will not be pretty. You'll be punched in the face. But if you choose to be happy about that anyway, he might still punch you in the face, but your experience will be different of it, and the picture after that will be guaranteed to be much more in alignment with who you truly are, because you stood the test of your circumstances and you stayed true to your new state of being, regardless of what occurred in your visual perception of energy. So stay true to your state of being, the desired state of being. Make it conscious. Don't just let it run your life. See how much you're assuming right now. You're assuming so many things. You're assuming so many things. And they're all generating your reality. And therefore they create the cohesive illusion that reality is real, solid, and true. That's because your thoughts always match up with your reality. So it's, in a sense, it's a little difficult to change that. But it's not. It just seems like it is. But the more consciousness you bring into your existence, into your experience, the more you can change your thinking, your consciousness, your attention, your vibratory state. And then suddenly, you notice that you can generate different realities. Shift into an alternate universe. Don't like the way things look. Change your reality. Why not? Because you didn't know it was possible. You thought that if there's something here right now, then that must mean that that is what is. And what have we been taught? To always refer back to what is. Very bad habit. Very, very bad habit. Always refer to what is. If you're confused about life, just get real. Get really real. What is real? Taxes? Mortgage? Marriage? Kids? Responsibilities? Having to put food on the table? Those things are real. Reference that what is, that which is. That will make you, what, happy? No, hell no. That will make you, crazy. Yes, depressed, crazy. So crazy, in fact, that you believe that your craziness is reality. Now that is crazy. I think people call that delusion. So, choose your delusion wisely, because it will appear real to you. You can choose your delusion. You can choose your reality. You can choose your consciousness. Every time we reference what is, meaning that our present manifestation becomes the container for the next set of thoughts that you're having, for the next set of beliefs that you're having, for the next set of intentions that you're setting, then you will always generate a reality, a container, a manifestation that looks like the previous one and the previous one and the previous one. You will, in a sense, you will still be shifting through billions of parallel realities, but they will all be of a similar vibratory pattern that they will not look very different. And they will not reflect that much more love and light back to you. They will be of the same density of being. Does that make sense? So that's why I always say, don't take your cue from your circumstances, ever. As soon as you, because this is what happens. People go, okay, what do I want? Well, this is what I have now, this is what I have now, this is what I have now, so what can I do with that? Very, very bad habit. Wrong way of thinking. It should be, this is what I have, this is what I have, this is what is real right now. So fuck all that. I want something completely different. Imagine that. Tune into that. And it will become reality. Imagination is your most powerful tool. It is consciousness. Imagination is consciousness. It is real. You can't imagine something that is not present inside of existence. You can't imagine something that doesn't already exist. So whenever you imagine something, that exists. And it's just waiting for you. Where? Not even half a centimeter away from you. It's right there within the same point of your consciousness, which is the meeting point of all of creation. It's the center of the universe and all universes that coexist with it. There is no distance between this reality and that reality. Between $10 and $10,000. Between a partner and no partner. There is no difference between that reality. There's no distance. They coexist within the same 0 point, within the same singularity of consciousness. So all that it takes is a different vibration, and it will start to manifest itself for you. In terms that make sense to you, meaning that most likely, although you can have these experiences as well from time to time, but most likely it will do it in a logical way. But you don't have to worry about that. It will just do that for you. Meaning that, okay, suddenly this person shows up and asks you to go to that concert that you just imagined going to. They have a spare ticket or whatever. So now you go, oh yeah, wait a second, did I create that? Yes, good answer. Or was it just coincidence? Did that person just happen to walk into the room, have spare tickets, and ask if anyone wanted to join them? So you will make it viable. You will make it, is that the word, viable? Like believable, like plausible to yourself through means of inserting certain things into your reality one sequence at a time, obviously, because that's how we're conditioned, that there's linear time and that this comes first and that. You can't just jump from this to that. So even if you are imagining this, you will generate a sense of some kind of time in between now and then, which is great because you can learn from that. You can express things in that time lag, in that time gap. But the way to close that gap faster and faster is to realize and understand that reality Z is as far from reality A as reality B is from reality A. Why? Because one picture has nothing to do with another picture. One reality has nothing to do with the next moment. There is no structural causality anywhere. Knowing this, suddenly your mind can start to see how reality works, and once you start to see how reality works, you start to believe that that is how it works. Once you believe how that's how it works, then the viable means in which a new expression can come to you can be way more flexible, because you're no longer as rigid in believing that it has to take a long time. Does that make sense? Cool. So it's still going to appear to you in a way that is plausible to you. It always has to honor your belief system, your free will, your level of free will. But there is very clever tools and techniques and ways of seeing live that can allow that reality to come through that much faster. And it's all about letting go of the resistance to the infinite possibilities that all coexist as parallel realities. Understanding that this is how reality works, that this is what is actual. This is not science fiction. This is fact. So shift your vibration. What do you desire? Do not take your cue from what's possible based on what you see. Do not take your cue on your present container because it's the reflection of what you thought before. What do you wish to create? You got to detach yourself from feeling tied to your present physical manifestation, the slide that is in front of your consciousness right now. Realize that you are consciousness, not the slide you're seeing, not the picture you've created. That's your creation, it's not your consciousness. And that your consciousness has the ability to change the picture, to change into a parallel reality, more consciously, more intentionally. Realize this, and then set your intention. Then know that you want to be something, someone in a certain way. You want to feel a certain way. Something is relevant for you that you've always kept small and suppressed. What is that? Who are you really? Who were you as a kid? Who did you know that you were? What was your favorite superhero? And that's closer to who you actually are than who you've become right now. Mine is Superman. obviously. That is who I am. That is closer to the vibration that I am than who I would have been had I believed in all the nonsense other people told me. So, who do you believe in? Who is your inspiration? Because everyone that inspires you shows you more of who you truly are. So take a few people or a few persons, whether fictional or fact, both are the same thing, because everything coexists and is equally valid in the eyes of consciousness, equally real. Who are you inspired by? What are you inspired by? What inspires you? What do you look up to? But in a good way, not like, oh, in a good way. What do you look up to? What inspires you? Who are your icons? That is who you are. At least a portion of that is reflected in them as reminders on your path given to you by your higher self to go in those directions, to embody those energies, those principles, that vibratory state that these icons represent for you. Desire is your guiding compass. Passion. Life is passion. Life is passion. You can take this in a very distorted way, as most people have done, very unconsciously. But you can take that same power and just flip it upside down in an instant. And you can start using that power, that passion, to create your life in a way that actually works for you. That's actually in alignment with what you came here to become, to be, to express yourself through. So make that shift in allegiance. Know that you can utilize this power in a way that serves you. And let go of all negative beliefs, no, all negative thoughts. Ease yourself into knowing that there is infinite possibilities, infinite abundance. Believe in yourself. Very important. More important than anything else, really. Believe in yourself. Your true self, what you know you are. Give it voice. Give it a path. Give it manifestation. Stop creating things that are not meant to be for you.